Okay, this is the second part of number 1 from the 4.4C practice quiz 2. And we've got our function here that we want to take. We took the derivative, so we just want to find out where the 0 is so we can check for the absolute, or sorry, the relative minimum. So we'll turn this guy on, y1, and we'll put this in. So this will be 20x minus parentheses 840 divided by x squared. I put the x over here and there's your square, so kind of watch how to do this. Some people are still using the little caret sign. Okay, and now once we go through this, some of you will probably need to try this again on your own to go all the way through, because sometimes you make some errors with these calculator problems, so you need to practice. All right? So don't be afraid to start the problem over. You can start at the first part and just pause it when you see the problem, and then work it out and then see if you do get the correct result. That might seem simple to some of you, but you never know, so better safe than sorry. Okay, so we're going to go zoom 6. That's what we've been using for, because we're going to try to find the relative extrema for this function, and this is the derivative. So the original function is the surface area. We took the derivative, so now we're going to graph the derivative. So we'll go zoom 6. It usually works out pretty good. And there it is. Now we're looking for the minimum, so remember this is our derivative, and here it's negative and it's positive. So the derivative is going from negative to positive right here. So this represents my function, so my surface area. So my surface area, the derivative is negative, so the slope of the surface area is negative here. And then from here on out to the right of this point, the slope of the surface area is positive, so it looks like we have a relative minimum. That's what we're looking for, you see. Okay. So how do we find this point here? Well, this is a 0, so we go to second calculate. Go down to 20 and press enter, and we want the left bound. Now you can just see a little bend in here, so this is going up to the right like this. So we can check over here for our y's and trace, and we see we have y is very negative, so we want to wait for it till when it changes from negative to positive. So I just have to push that, and I'm going to have to hold it down for a while. Now I can look over here and I can see my x is 1, 2, 3, because this zoom 6 is a 10 by 10. So it looks like it's 1, 2, 3, a little bit past 3, so I can watch over here when this gets closer and closer to 3, and I pass it. There we go. So this is 2. Oops. And you can see the cursor there. So this is nice. We can actually see the cursor on this one. Okay, so here's negative. So that's going to be my left bound, and here's positive. So I'm just checking. So I'm going to go back over here, and that's my left bound, where I'm going from negative to positive. That's the negative, so I'm going to press enter on left bound. And that's right down here, so you can see it. Hope you can see everything. Enter. And then I'll put the arrow so I get it up to the top there. So now it's positive, and that's going to be my right bound. So again, I'll press enter. I won't have a guess, and there's my answer. And I have 3.47. Now we're going to keep this number, but when we write, well, we'll keep this. This is x. Okay, because this isn't really one of our dimensions, because our dimensions are 2x, 5x. Okay, so the length is equal to 5x, and I can write this down over here. This is what we're going to actually try to find. So the length equals 5x, the width equals 2x, and the height equals, and we have to go back up there, and that was 60 over x squared. So we can get numbers for those. Put this up a little bit higher here. Okay. So I hope you can see everything here. All right. So my enter's down the bottom. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, I'm going to store this, so I'm going to go to second mode or quit. That's going to get me on my home screen. And I'm going to go store, that's abbreviation for store down there. Press that, and it says answer arrow, and then I'm going to put that in alpha A. So I'm going to put alpha A. Oops. Let's try this again. Alpha A. And that's going to take what was on my graph, what I had for X on my graph. That's going to store that in alpha A, and I press enter, and there it is. Now my length is 5 times that, so I'm just going to go 5 times alpha A. And that's going to give me my length, which is about 17.38. Because we're going to round that off. Now my width is 2x, so that's going to be 2 times alpha A, enter, and I get 6.95. Remember, this number is smaller than 5, so I just drop it. If it's 5 or bigger, I add 1 to the hundredths place, but that's going to be 6.95. And my dimensions were feet, because it's in cubic feet, so that's going to be feet. And the last one is the height, and that's going to be 60 divided by x squared, so that's going to be alpha A. So I'll just press alpha A and then use the little x squared button there. And we get 4.9. Now this is bigger than, this is 5 or bigger, so I'm going to add 1, so 4.97. And those are your dimensions. Okay? So those dimensions will use the least amount of material that will have 600 cubic feet. Now you can add these, you can multiply these out, and if you multiply these, you're going to see that you're going to get 600 cubic feet. And I could do it over here. I can say, well, even if you multiply this out, you're going to get, it would be 600, because you get 10 times 6 is 600, and x times x is x squared over x squared is 1, so that's going to give you 600. But you can multiply it. Now if you multiply these out, you'll get a little bit different because we round off, so we've got some round off error there. But if I saved all these digits, if I saved all these and stored these in A, B, and C, if I multiply that out, I would get 600. And we can check it out anyway, so we'll just do 17.38 times 6.95, 6.95 times 4.97. Now remember, we have some round off error, and that's enter. And see, we get 600, and then we've got a little bit of extra stuff over there because of the round off error. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So think about this, try it on your own, and make sure you can go through the whole problem on your own. And then you'll have a good chance when we have a quiz like this.